family. It's Monday. I hope everybody's Mondays are going well. I just wanted to talk about something that people have affectionately started to call Cara's cult. And I guess people consider Cara's cult as just a large group of fan base who thinks that Cara walks on water, that she can do no wrong, that everything that she does is the right thing to do, and you can never tell them otherwise. The thing about today's era, yeah, I took it off my car because I know that people always say there's audio issues when I do that. The thing about today's era is that pretty much everyone who gets on these shows have some kind of cult. Some have a large cult and some have a small cult. It depends on how many years you've been doing the show, how much work you put in on your social media, how long you've been on television for. Everyone has some kind of a cult. So to be like Cara is the only one who has this kind of thing is not true. Go look on Laurel's page and find all the people that defend all of her actions. Go look on Nicole's page and find all the people that defend all her actions. They all have like cult followings. And I'm not saying that's the majority of who follows them. I'm just saying the way that people are trying to use that against her is silly to me. Now, I watched Cara from the time when she first came onto the challenge, when she was a fresh meat. Getting in on fresh meat in and of itself, the people that got onto the challenge from the real world looked at those fresh meat people and were like, y'all don't belong here. We've earned our stripes on this television. We've done other things that earned our spot here, and y'all were just handed a spot. So they already treated the fresh meat people differently than they did the castmates that they were already familiar with, that were from at the time, like the MTV brand and the MTV family. Now, Cara represented something that was so different from anything that they had ever seen before. So I think that that's part of why Cara has always resonated with me, is because I've always been the one who's different, and I've been somebody who moved around a lot. So I had to adjust and readjust and had people call me names and had people be like, you're not like everybody else, you don't speak like everyone else, you don't dress like everyone else, you don't act like everyone else, so you're just a weirdo. At this stage in my life, I'm happy that that molded me into the person that I am, because I like myself and how I am better than I like most people. Like, I could look around and I'm like, there's 100 of y'all, but there's only one of me. So I liked Cara back then, when she didn't have a cult, when she didn't have a big following, when people, Wes, I'm not even gonna say people because they've talked about this. Wes was pouring the soda on her head, and people were just yelling at her and calling her all kinds of names in the challenge house, and she was being bullied. I liked her back then because I'm like, this lady is different and I like her. And so I think that it's cool that so many years have gone by. She had all that time off, and then now she came back, and now she has all this love from the fans. And some people hate the fact that she's getting love from the fans. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, if y'all were fine with all those people that hated on her on the show, off the show for years, when she kept coming back and being the butt of everyone's jokes and just being somebody who everyone was like, you don't belong here, just leave the show and don't come back. If you're now mad at the fact that now there's a large group of fans that are like, I like her. I am so impressed by the fact that she used to be like crying Cara that would just cry in the corner, and now she doesn't cry and she stands up for herself, and she doesn't let anybody intimidate her, bully her around, and she's confident. She gained a lot of self-confidence from the time that we were last seeing her on the show. And particularly, if you remember Kara's history, I mean, I can't say I remember A to Z her history, because I know some people are super fans that remember every detail. But what I do remember about Cara early on is she was always attached to some kind of man, for the most part, who would protect her from all the other people in the cast. Whether that man was Abram, whether it was Polly, or whether it was actually Laurel at one point. Laurel at one point was protecting her and defending her. Who else? There was Kyle. There was Kyle at one point. She was always attached to somebody who, when people were coming at her and when people were attacking her, when people were calling her names and doing all these different things, she required that person there to stand up for her and have her back. Whereas it seemed like in this season, despite the fact that she had Ace, she had Steve, and she had Jay to an extent, these were not people who were like really vocally supporting her. It seemed more like they were a quiet support system for her. Because when we saw these shouting matches with Nicole, with Laurel, with Cam, those people were not really saying much of anything during those times. They were more of the talk to you afterwards. Talk to you afterwards and make sure that you're okay. Palaver girl. Thank you so much for that comment. If I'm reading that name right, Palaver girl. I really appreciate that comment. Here to support, and I'm really proud of you. I appreciate that. Oh, I can pin comment. That's what's up. I just pinned your comment. Yeah, but anyways, I think that if we could tolerate her having years and years and years of people just hating on her for just being who she is, I think that we can live with her getting a lot of love. Cara's men passe are more like supporting animals. Support animals. That's funny. Yeah, but I mean, if we can tolerate all those years of her being hated on for, in my opinion, not very much of a reason, we can tolerate people showing her love. She deserves that. I mean, she hasn't had that. Out of all these different people that we consider goats of the game, she has not had the love like that. Even a Johnny Bananas, who at one point was like really reckless with the way that he spoke, especially with the way that he spoke to women. He used to call them all kinds of B words and all kinds of stuff. And a lot of people love Johnny Bananas. CT was reckless on the challenge. A lot of people love CT. I hate to say it because CT and Wes are two of my favorites, but there was a time when Wes was not a role model, to say the least, on the challenge. He wasn't the worst person on there, but he was not the best person on there either. But each of them have had followings. All these people have had followings. Even Laurel has had big followings of people that just love her. And Cara, I feel, has not really gotten that too much until, I would say, until the time when she left the challenge. And then people were like, I miss Cara. And then they started to go back into her history. And we reached this point in our society now where people are like, wait a minute, bullying is not okay. Trashing people just because they're different is not okay. And like I said, I've experienced that myself where I grew up. Funny enough, not funny, but just the expression, funny enough, I grew up in Canada. I was in a school that had like 2% African Americans in the whole school. It was like 95% Caucasian, 2% African American, and like 3% other. So I remember I grew up, I was like my friends when I grew up. But my friends actually made fun of me for being like them. And the reason why is because they would tell me things like, "Oh, you're an Oreo." These were white people telling me, "You're an Oreo." And I don't know. It didn't upset me as much as it should at the time, being a child, but revisiting it in my head, I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean you're making fun of me because I'm not like what you saw in Boys in the Hood? Like, you know, I'm smart. I'm smarter than most of y'all. Like, my grades are better than a lot of people in my class, and I'm the spelling bees and the saxophone competitions. What does that mean? Like, I'm not supposed to be doing those things. And then I remember moving from there to Massachusetts, and then people thought a way about me over there. Like, there was just the legend of Mark, all these different things that I was like allegedly doing. And I look at Cara, and I'm like, I'm feeling the same way. Cara could just be out living her life and just doing her, and people just hate on her for no reason, hate on her for no reason, hate on her for no reason. And I think that's what happened on All Stars 4. And I'm just saying, I'm not part of the cult. I love Cara, but I'm not part of the cult. If she did something that I found was wrong, that she shouldn't have done, I would call her out on it, just like I called out Nicole this season, just like I called out Laurel, just like I called out Cam. And I'm a huge fan of Cam. If you go through my history, Cam has not always been the most well liked. Cam was somebody that a lot of people didn't like, as a matter of fact. And I always said, I love Cam. Cam's one of my favorites. This season, Cam was not necessarily one of my favorites. You know, I'm proud of her because of the way that she was able to come on the season, you know, after childbirth and conquer certain fears and get through postpartum depression. There was just a lot of things to be proud of Cam for, but there was a lot of game things that I was not so happy with Cam about. So I just call a spade a spade. I don't go based on whether I like the person or not. I go based on the facts presented to me, and from the facts of what I saw in the season, I don't think Cara got a fair shake, and I don't think she was treated fairly. And I hope that if she comes on again, I mean, I hope this doesn't happen again and she gets a chance to just really play the game. But despite all of that, her second place to me is way more impressive than Laurel's first place. Not just because of the advantages, but Laurel had the advantage of spinning the whole house against Cara and downplaying her threat level somehow to where nobody thought, oh, maybe we shouldn't have Laurel in this final because Laurel is a freaking animal of a woman that can beat anyone and anything. But hey, I guess people are calling that social game. Like, Laurel fans are calling that social game. So if that's social game, she had one hell of a social game. Both Bananas and CT. They did. They did. Laurel did not grow out of her past. Thank you so much. And I actually have to go as well. But thanks for joining me. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Mindful Reality, signing out. Oh wait, I gotta block somebody before I sign out. King D117. Hold on. Your comment is no longer visible. Hold on, let me see if I can block you. I enjoy blocking people, so I'm stepping my block game up. Hold on. Hide user, put user on timeout. Nah, no timeout. Bang! I like that. That was fun. Thank you, King D117, for your comment, your first and last. I always say if you're going to make a comment that's going to get you blocked from my channel, make it worthwhile, because when I put stupid comments on other people's pages that I know that will get me blocked, I get my money's worth. You know, you should have thrown in some insults in there. You should have threw a couple of curse words in there. You know, that makes it so that your last comment is memorable. But all right, that extended my time for like an extra minute. So, anyways, as I was saying before, positivity, positivity. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. And don't drop stupid comments like King D117. Otherwise, you will suffer a similar fate. Talk to y'all soon.